Tick, tick, tick. It is about to be the end of February, and yet some people are at the same spot that they started when they were in January. They've been stuck. They want to make a move, but they don't know how to. Ladies, it is time to tighten up. This is your alarm. Sound the alarm right now. Let us get it together. We have our summer body to tighten up. We have vacations to go to. We have money to make. We have relationships to build. We have places and networks to build. So make sure that you are hitting everything that you said to yourself, that this is the year that I am going to be, you know? All right, that was a mouthful. Hey, my love, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of Made for Influence. I am your host, Juliet Olabanji, and today I'm bringing you something a little different from our regular episodes. This is a teaser. I wanted you to see what is going on YouTube, because some of you are only listening to Spotify, Apple Podcast, maybe even Amazon. But we have a lot of content that we are about to pump out on YouTube, and this is just a tip of the iceberg. And I want you to take a listen to Identity Living. On this new series that is exclusively going to be on YouTube, we are going to be discussing pop culture, real life stories, leaderships and transition challenges. We are going to be discussing everything you can think of from the lens of identity. I want you to take a listen and comment below when you're done listening what you think about this new series. I really hope you love it. And make sure you join me on YouTube, Juliet in Frame, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of this type of content. Now, let's take a listen and welcome to Identity Living by Juliet Olabanji. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Juliet Olabanji. I am the founder of The Made Org, a place where we equip and help high capacity, high value women to lead with identity and to create legacy level impact. I'm also the founder of Rooted Productivity, a framework and ecosystem that help you produce sustainably. And you're watching Identity Living, a series where I started to dissect the invisible forces shaping your decisions, identity crisis, leadership transitions, paradigm shifts, and the reorientation required to become rooted in truth. Here's how this works. I'll break down real life figures, online stories, and personal accounts and dilemmas sent directly to me, turning them into case study that we can learn from, extract wisdom from, and adapt to our own lives. You also can anonymously send me your leadership challenges, personal constraints, or identity conflicts for me to resolve through my lens. So you may ask, what is my approach? First, a Christocentric foundation. The truth anchored in ancient biblical stories and truth. And then we go through natural laws. Finally, I'll draw inferences from patterns that we see repeated across lives, industries, and generations. This is where belief meets behavior, where identity drives impact. So let's begin. Belcalis Almánzar, also famously known as Cardi B. We all know her, or at least you've heard about her. She was raised in South Bronx, Dominican father, Trinidadian mother. Poverty and violence marked our early years. Parents separated at a very young age, and then she joined the Bloods at 16. Not because she was lost, but because she needed protection. This is a narrative she told. Because survival required belonging to something. At the age of 19, she started stripping. She was stripping to earn money quickly and escape an abusive relationship. She said it plainly herself. The strip club didn't degrade her. It freed her, according to her. It gave her the one thing the Bronx hadn't: financial autonomy. And this is where the seed was planted early. I am responsible for saving myself.
If I only get good comments, only compliments, then I will get comfortable. But when people like y'all talk so much shit, that just makes me go harder so I could prove y'all a motherfucking point. So it's just like, thank you, bitch. Thank you for the motivation, ho.
No one is coming. And then by 2013, we see Cardi B, no filter attitude, brutally honest on Instagram. She wasn't performing. She was just being loud, funny, raw, unapologetic. The internet loved her because she hadn't been polished yet. And then we see her focus on her music in 2017 came with Bodak Yellow, the rap anthem that made her a first solo female rapper since Lauryn Hill. By 2019, she became the first solo female rapper to win a Grammy Award for the Best Rap Album. The girl from Hillbridge, Bronx, who lied to her mother about babysitting while stripping, was now one of the most powerful women in music. And then we can see the identity fracture begins. The more famous Cardi B becomes, the further Belcalis has to travel to find her. Her marriage to Offset was a public roller coaster, a spectacle. With children involved, I can only imagine the emotional turmoil. This isn't just a cheating story. That is a trap. Love and harm living in the same house. Intimacy and betrayal sharing the same bed. She kept returning to him. Not from weakness, but from a deep identity belief. The woman I am is defined by who I protect, who I stay loyal to. And we will see that pattern all through Cardi B's life up until now. The pattern revealed this. She survived poverty by saving herself. Real love mixed with trauma, that is the thing she couldn't outrun. And now we see her, she is with Stefon Diggs. By the end of last year, they announced a pregnancy. Now she has a fourth child. 3 with Offset, a fourth with Stefon. And very recently, we saw the old Super Bowl debacle, whereas people even say that they unfollowed each other. If this is true, it is only painting a deeper picture. The question now is this a new beginning or the same story with a different man's name? When I think about Cardi's story, here's what makes her different from other celebrities unraveling. She never really stopped being Belcalis. In one of her interviews that I saw, she said, a whole lot of things get to me. She said, I'm the type of person to think, what would happen to my daughter? What would my daughter think of me? What would my mom think of me? What would my grandparent think of me? And then she goes ahead and throws pens at reporters. She goes on 15 minutes rants. She cries. She overshares. She rages. She's vulnerable. The public sometimes calls her messy. But look closer. It is a woman who refuses to disappear. A woman whose survival instincts are so strong she cannot perform peace that she doesn't feel. I saw on a video where she said this about her ex, Offset. Oh, I don't deal with that. I'm so tired of people associating me with my past or someone from my past. So this tells me something. She knows what she needs. She just keeps finding herself in environments that test whether she believes she deserves it. One thing I want to make clear is this. Cardi B's story isn't about bad choices. It is about a woman who built extraordinarily external power while our internal foundation remained the same as the girl in Highbridge, South Bronx, who learned to only survive. She survived by being indispensable to others. Stripping, indispensable to her own survival. Offset, indispensable to his brand, his family, his heart. Her fans, indispensable as the real one who never switches up. And now she's with someone that we're just looking at how the story is being written. Our core wound is this. I am safe when I'm needed. I am loved when I'm useful. I am enough when I'm too much to be ignored. Cardi B from South Bronx wasn't performing. She was being herself. The Bronx accent, the unfiltered opinions, the raw honesty, that was a girl before the contracts. But the moment the audience applauded her for her authenticity, then authenticity became the product. And once something becomes a product, it stops being free. The tragedy isn't that she changed. It is that she had to keep performing realness to stay relevant, which is the most exhausting contradiction a person can carry. The rawness is still there, but now it's scheduled, packaged, monetized. And somewhere between Grammy and the rants on X, formerly known as Twitter, Belcalis got buried under Cardi B. So, what now, Juliet? You've said all this. These are the things that I want you to know. What I see is 4 fractures. Spiritual stillness. Cardi B has never learned to be quiet because survival required noise. The Bronx required armored.
People that be around me, I know that they be thinking that I'm crazy because I be mumbling and I be saying shit. Like, ever since I was a little girl, my little sister used to be like, why are you talking to yourself? You're a weirdo. But it's like, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to Jesus. I'm talking to God. And before I start talking to God, I do a little prayer. But I don't really pray to God. Like, I talk to him. And sometimes when I talk to him, sometimes curses be coming out my mouth because I get emotional. People said that cursing is a sin, but I be talking to God like if he's my bro, like he's my father, because he is my father, and I conversate with him. So when I curse, it's because I feel a spiritual connection, like I'm emotional.
But from my Christocentric lens, God is not found in performance. He's found in stillness. The Spirit is found in stillness. A verse I love is, "Be still and know that I am God." She cannot hear when she has never practiced listening for a soul level healing. She cannot hear what she never practiced listening for. So there needs to be a spiritual grounding in Cardi B's life. A spiritual grounding that is based on truth, not whatever they got going on in Hollywood. The next is soul level healing, emotional and mental healing. That goes beyond the surface. And I'm not just talking about therapy as a talking point. Not I'm unbothered as a coping mechanism, but the deep interior work of confronting why chaos feels like home. Why love has always arrived wrapped in betrayal. Why she keeps choosing men who require her to be smaller in private while she is enormous in public. These are the core questions, the soul level healing that Cardi B needs to sit with. What are some emotional tremors that are triggers to our choices? The next fracture that I see is physical stability. Not financial, because she has that, but bodily safety, rest, the ability to exist in her body without it being a spectacle, without it being a product or a battlefield. She has carried 4 pregnancies, a public divorce, multiple lawsuits, and now maybe a crumbling new relationship, all simultaneously and publicly. A body has been through war. It needs peace. And what a lot of people don't know is that trauma is stored in the body. The body also reacts to trauma, not just emotional, financial. The body reacts and signals to trauma. She needs to practice grounding and bodily safety, somatic safety. And the last fracture that I see is internal alignment. This is arguably the most important one. You can have all the money in the world. Financial power without internal healing is just a more expensive version of the wound. Cardi B proved that you can come from nothing and build an empire. But the empire has no foundation if the woman inside is still a 19-year-old who learned that survival means being indispensable to someone else. A lot of the women I work with are high net worth. And what I notice is that there is a financial fallacy. And it's also present in Cardi B's story. The financial fallacy is this. The world looks at Cardi B and says, she's fine, she is rich, she is free, she can buy anything she wants. But money does not heal fractures. It funds them. It gave her the ability to stay in the loop longer, louder, and with more resources. A woman without money leaves the toxic relationship because she has no choice. Well, some, I should say. A woman with $100 million, she can stay through lawyers, through public platforms, through new relationships that mirror the old wounds indefinitely. Financial stability is a floor, not a foundation. It stops you from falling through, but it doesn't build the house. It doesn't hold the house. Until the spiritual fracture, the emotional fracture, and the soul level fracture are addressed, the money is just beautiful furniture in a structurally unsound building. This is one thing I want you to see. Cardi, you may see this. I want you to know that we love because he first loved us. That is 1 John 4:19. We love because God first loved us, and we are not able to give back and pour out the much love that we have if we don't understand the love of the Father. This is a verse that reframes your story. It reframes everything about you. You've been operating under counterfeit definition of love your entire life. Love as survivor, love as loyalty and through endurance. Love as staying when you should leave. Love as leaving and then coming back because it feels familiar, safer than the unknown or something better. But here's the principle. You cannot give what you haven't received, and you cannot receive what you don't believe you deserve. Growing up, it was probably hard for Cardi to experience a soul level love without her performing or having to give something back in return. Before Cardi is Cardi, before the rap, before the fame, before the awards, the Grammy, being loved in our original form. Belcalis Almánzar, daughter of God, made in the image of God. Not Cardi, not the brand, not the chaos. Belcalis, God loves you. And until you receive that unconditional love, that unprecedented love that God demonstrated first, it will be hard for you to keep looking for it in a man. Until Cardi receives that love, she will keep looking for it in men who takes more than they give. In audiences who love the performance, love you one day, hate you the next. In the version of herself that have to stay loud to be loved. This is the mindset shift that is crucial for Cardi B. Love is not something you earn. It is something that you're born into. And even though she might have had a hard childhood, Cardi B was born into love, out of the love of Christ. When she is able to root that truth into her life, into herself, everything changes. A lived reality changes. Stop auditioning for the love that you already have. Now, let us move on to the principle of seed and harvest. We've all heard this. Whatever you sow, you will reap. The Bible even says it. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. This is not punishment. It is pattern. Cardi B has been sowing sometimes chaos and calling it passion. Sowing reactivity and calling it authenticity. Sowing loyalty to men who harm her and she calls it love. And the harvest has been every time more chaos, more reactivity, more harm. So that tells you something about the seed that she is sowing. The seed that she needs to plant now is stillness so that she can harvest clarity. Healing so she can harvest wholeness. Boundaries so she can harvest relationships that honor her. Spiritual rootedness so that she can harvest an identity that doesn't depend on applaud or a man's validation to survive. The harvest always reflects the seed. If the internal soil doesn't change, the external circumstances will keep producing the same fruit. And regardless of that fat bank account, the record deal, and the new relationship, the fruit will always be the same. As I wrap up this case study, I want you to know that Belcalis and Cardi B cannot coexist. What I see here is a tension. Belcalis and Cardi B cannot be real at the same time. One is rooted, one is performed. One was born in South Bronx and survived by fully being herself. The other was built for an audience and survives by being what the audience needs. Right now, Cardi B, the brand, is winning. And Belcalis is posting unedited video dancing at midnight, lashing out. Not because she's unwell, but because she is searching. Trying to find the version of herself that exists without a director, a label, a man's validation, or a comment section defining her. She cannot heal as Cardi B. She can only heal as Belcalis. The brand must decrease so that the woman can increase. A verse in John chapter 3 says, "He must increase, but I must decrease." Talking about Jesus Christ coming as the one that's been talked about. And at that point, John the Baptist was at the peak of the career. Everyone was coming to him because they thought he was the main guy. It was the real deal. It was the one that was sent. But he said, I have to decrease so that he must increase. And what I want you to hear is this. There cannot be competing truth. A lot of us gloss over that verse. There can never be competing truth. There is smaller truth and there is greater truth. There are truths that feed into one old truth. But you cannot say there are two competing opposite truths about one thing. It's a fallacy. She cannot be the brand Cardi B and also be the Belcalis. One will try to take over the other. When there isn't an alignment and resolution between the two, there will always be confusion, chaos, lack of peace, disruption. One must heal and give way to the other. She's not disappearing into nothingness. She is disappearing into truth, into stillness, into the version of herself that was always enough before the world told her that she had to be more. Who am I to say this? But I'll say it anyway. Cardi B does not need another album, another public relationship, maybe another lash out on another platform. What she needs is silence, stillness, to hear from God, connect to God, if she so chooses to. But that's who I believe in. And there is a God that keeps everything still. He silences the storm. This may be a first time hearing God without the noise, without the performance. A very specialized therapist. They need to go in deep and consistent soul level healing, not for content, but for herself. Cardi needs community. People who knew Belcalis before Cardi B and loves her the same. People that are not attached to what she can give. And I'm not talking about the associations that pushed her into protection and survival. Cardi needs spiritual grounding. Oh, and she needs to put real boundaries in place. The kind that will cost her something publicly, but save her privately. And when those roots grow deep enough, she will create from overflow, not from wounds. She will love from wholeness, not from hunger. She will choose men from security, not from scarcity. And by no means am I saying that a lot of men won't jump at Cardi. But are they men that will value her? Are they men that would understand the essence of her soul in a soft way, in a feminine way? That woman, the rooted one, the healed one, the still one, will be the most powerful version of Cardi B the world has ever seen. Not because she is performing power, but because she finally knows she already has it. Cardi, if you ever see this, this is your invitation into a different journey, into identity living. I'm sending you all the love, and I know your most powerful version awaits you. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. I am Juliet Olabanji, the founder of The Made Org. Please visit my website, www.themadeorg.com, to find out all about The Made Org. And also, for an opportunity to work together, make sure you contact me through my website. This is Identity Living, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.